What is up everyone, my name is Jasper and today it is finally time for another update on the case study website. So I just checked my YouTube account and it's been over a couple of months since I last made my update. I believe the last one was in May. So it's finally time for another update on this website because there are some very exciting things happening. So for those of you who don't know, a quick recap about this site. I started this site back in November of 2021 with the idea of seeing what bulk publishing would do to my website. The rumor at the time was that bulk publishing would get you out of the sandbox much faster. But I saw kind of the opposite. My site instantly got hit by those indexing issues that were running pretty rampant back then. So this site was just laying flat for 3 straight months. For literally 3 months, Google hadn't picked up a single article. I was indexed in Bing and Yahoo, so I was getting some traffic, but Google, I was nowhere to be found. So the sandbox period was actually prolonged by 3 months because, well, for 3 months, my site basically didn't exist. So yeah, the whole idea kind of got thrown out of the window. But after around 3 months, so in February 2022, the site finally started to get picked up. And ever since February 2022, I've been seeing some very decent growth on this website. Now, because I was running into some indexing issues, I did actually kind of lower the production rate for this website. I was producing around 10 to 20 articles a month and I kind of dropped it down to 1 a week because there was just nothing happening and I didn't want to invest too much in a site that just didn't get picked up at all. So I kind of lowered the production rate with the idea of going back to this website once things are finally starting to get indexed. For right now, we're at that point, and in the last update I made on this website, I was sitting at 1,000 page views a month, just over 1,000 page views a month, and it was back in May. Right now though, we're sitting at 4,100 page views in the entirety of August, and if we take it even more recently, so we go to Google Analytics and go for the last 30 days, I'm sitting at 6,500 page views. So that's a pretty substantial difference, and it really just shows the growth that this website is currently seeing. We also had the first day where we had more than 300 page views in a single day, so this site is just going in the right direction and it makes me really happy to see. Now, one thing that I did notice is that although we are still growing, the large upward trend is kind of starting to slow down. So it used to grow pretty quickly. I was seeing like 60 to 70 to sometimes 80% month over month growth. It is slowing down a little bit, but I think that mainly has to do with the fact that I stopped publishing as much. So there really isn't too much more for this website to grow on. It's also still relatively young. The site is like 7 months old if we take away the indexing issue. So a 7-month-old site. I'm definitely not sweating it. I'm kind of used to seeing these kind of numbers. I'm pretty happy with it. And yeah, from here it's just seeing where this thing goes. But the main thing I'm trying to get at is that now that the site is growing again, it's just time to start producing a lot more content. And the fact that I didn't produce as much content is really the reason why this growth is kind of slowing down. But other than this nice growth curve and 6,500 page views, the other metrics are also looking pretty nice. So time on page is like 4.5 minutes on average, which is really nice. Most of the articles are only 1,000 words, so almost 5 minutes of time on page is really decent to me. Other than that, I'm also receiving some pretty solid backlinks. I don't actively build backlinks, nor do I pay for it, but I do, of course, collect them organically, which just happens over time. And right now, this website, although it is very small, is getting some pretty decent backlinks from very niche relevant websites, but also from some very large websites. And lastly, the articles themselves are spread out pretty nicely. There's one article that gets 500 page views a month. But other than that, most articles are getting a pretty sort of even percentage of the traffic. So there's not just one, well, there is one outlier, but it isn't by all that much. Like, I believe the next best article does 300 a month. So overall, the traffic is spread out very nicely across all of the articles, which is really good to see because sometimes you just see a new site grow really fast because one article gets like 3, 4, 5,000 page views a month. That's luckily not the case here. So let's say that things are starting to slow down a little, and I think there's a couple of explanations for that. Very first one is what I touched on, is that I kind of stopped publishing as much as I used to because I didn't want to reinvest as much money into this website when nothing was ranking. So me kind of stopping the larger production rate kind of killed the momentum, which is now showing in the growth numbers. Other than that, I think that this website, it kind of has skewed numbers because it is a 10-month-old website. But when we look at the time that things are actually getting indexed and things are ranking and things are starting to get into the sandbox, the site is actually only 7 months old. So there's still so many articles out there that haven't had proper time to actually rank. So that's really why I'm expecting even more growth in the future. But for now, I'm actually very happy and I almost like expected this sort of drop in growth to happen. And of course, the way I'm going to fix it is by publishing more content. I've always had one dedicated writer to this website. He can write a lot of articles in a pretty short time, but since I had some budget constraints due to all of the core updates that kept hitting me, and because this website wasn't really showing rewards yet, I gave him 1 article a week. I'm going to ramp that up to 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 articles a week, because this site right now is really showing its potential. I think by regularly updating this website, so with 3 or 4 articles a week, that's like 12 to 16 articles a month extra. That is a really decent number. This site right now currently only has 98 articles on there, I believe. So updating it with 12 to 16 articles every single month is going to make a pretty big difference, and it's just going to add to the numbers, and that's going to show back in the analytics in the future again. So my last update was back in May, and I have slowed down production rate for this particular site. That doesn't mean that I haven't been working on it. So currently the website has 98 articles, but I have 20 to maybe 30 articles that are ready to publish. I need to edit them slightly, I need to add some pictures, but they are basically ready to be put on the site. Now what I'm thinking of doing is just publishing 1 a day and not all of them all at once. I think by publishing them 1 a day and then letting the writer do that 3 to 4 article routine that we just talked about, I think it creates a more natural flow of articles instead of just dumping all 30 all at once. So that's really how I'm going to do this part. And other than that, what I've been doing is just a lot of maintenance work. So first off, for whatever reason, I was probably a little bit too lazy, but basically none of the articles had any pictures. So no featured image, no images in the article, nothing. So I took a couple of days, I went through all of my articles, I found some pictures, I edited those pictures, and I added those pictures to all of the articles. So right now the website actually looks pretty, and it's not just one large wall of text. Other than that, I also added all of those necessary pages like privacy policy, about page, contact page, stuff like that. So the website is now actually a complete site, and all I need to focus on right now is just adding more articles. Now I also of course let my writer keep on writing for this website, but that really showed me one thing, and that is that keyword research is the main bottleneck for this website as of now. So I've been working primarily on the accessory side myself. I've been doing the keyword research there. I've been writing there as well. So most of my time is just spent there and not on this website. And that really starts to show right now, because when my writer is done writing his article, I have trouble giving him a new title because I just haven't done keyword research. So to alleviate that, I think I'm just going to take a couple of days, find like 50 articles, and maybe just give him all at once at the writer so he can write at his own pace. I'm not sure on that yet, but I do realize that I need to focus on this site as well if I want to keep this one growing. Now my future plans for this site, I'm honestly not really sure what I want to do with this one. It's a site in a relatively competitive niche, and I'm not really sure how far I can take this one. Of course, I'm going to keep growing it to at least like 250, 300 articles, and then we're going to see from there. So I'm not even close to like getting rid of this site or anything like that. But I'm trying to kind of get an idea of what I want to do with this site. So the couple of options that I had was, first off, to just grow the site and keep growing it after the 300 article mark and just leave it as is. The other was to kind of grow to 250 or 300 articles, see what the traffic will be, monetize it and sell it off. And the other one was, and that's really one of the options that I'm going to take if I actually see a lot of potential here, that is to just grow the website and then maybe get a new domain that's a lot broader, redirect everything into the new domain and make this into one gigantic website. I don't think, honestly, that option number 3 is going to be it. It's probably going to be option number 1 or 2, because if I realize one thing with all of these Google Core updates is that I need some stability, and setting a site off may be the best way to do that. The way I see it, money in the bank cannot get hit by these Google Core updates, while my sites, for whatever reason, always seem to target me. Speaking of updates, this website actually cruised through all of the updates that happened in the last couple of months. So we had the May update, then in September we had like 3 updates, which were the helpful content update, the September core update, and then the product review update. All of them are done rolling out. This one was unaffected by all 4 of them, so that is great. Sadly, I cannot say the same for all of the other websites. But yeah, this one grew through, which is a really positive sign. That's not something I typically see because, well, you guys know my history with core updates. So that's really exciting, and just overall the best word to describe this project with is exciting. Things are going in the right direction, things are growing. I've got a solid plan laid out to keep things growing, hopefully. And then the one thing I need to get clear on is what the end goal with this website is. So if I'm going to sell it or if I'm going to hold it. Other than that, I really do not have anything more to share for this site right now. This is where the site is currently at and where it's going. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.